Hey, Dad, stop snoring.
I'm bored.
Oh, man. So, well, since we've been speaking a little bit over the phone, and we're not over the phone, texting wise and such, but
Yeah, we don't hang out as much as we want to.
yeah, but it's been very challenging weeks. And like I said, I was just like last night when I was hanging up some posters in my room, I just want to just chat,
Just talk.
or just talk in front of the camera.
Yeah, we should definitely get some good video cameras, like even if they're just like GoPros or something, and attach it to the wall, and then you could just turn it on and talk and just clean your room or whatever.
Yeah.
Just do a little bit of self therapy with some talk.
Yeah.
And then just record it.
But yeah, it's past couple of days it's been a little up and down, but just some things I heard of, like perfectionism, and something that I heard the other day, Shane Top from Smosh.
You could probably describe his face and I might know him.
Yeah,
is he the guy with the backwards hat?
Kind of, yeah,
athletic dude,
buff guy.
I know the guy. Yeah.
But not too long ago, a couple videos, he's talked about a little bit that he actually went to school for like psychiatry and stuff.
I did not expect that.
Yeah, and so he started his own personal YouTube channel, and he did a video the other day that I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to go and watch it. And it was just called Perfectionism. And he was just talking about like exactly what me and you talk about. He was just like, I go through the same things. I have things in my head where I'm like, I feel like a failure, all this stuff. And he's like, and it's normal. And I think it was called like progressive mindset or something like that. Like realizing like, hey, these are mistakes. Hey, these are flaws that I can improve on.
That's kind of something that helps me when I'm feeling like I don't have any value to provide to the world or anything to be motivated towards giving, whether it's to a person or an audience or, being of service in some way, is whatever you're going through, someone can relate to it, and you talking about it is enough to just start someone on their journey to solving the issue. But be careful looking up this kind of YouTube content that I look up, because your feed will become very depressing and very mental health oriented. And it's like,
and you get easily caught up in it. Yeah.
Well, and you can get caught up in it because at some point, if you're like having a really low day, whatever you click on, and you're just going to watch like 30 videos in a row of just depressing and like sometimes I'll get ones like why Machiavelli lost faith in humanity or some like that.
Yeah.
And you do see that, but eventually if you intake enough negative energy, negative content, negative input, you begin this process of negative self-talk in your head, and it will bring down your confidence and it will bring down your self-esteem, I suppose.
Yes.
And at some point you will start to believe that people don't like you and they don't want to hang out with you just because you have to text first or something stupid like that. And it's very easy to fall into that hole. And I have tripped and fell into that pungy pit a number of times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm getting better with it every time because I'm sure it will never stop throughout my life.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely something that like you were just talking about, and something I kind of admit to openly is I get in the thing of perfectionism, and I want to have people around me, and I'm usually a people pleaser where I want close people around me where I want to be like, I want to look like on the outside I'm successful because I'm too scared of on the inside they're going to see how much I'm a failure I am. But it's good to have those people that can see that the inside of you, be like, hey man, like, what are you doing or something? Or, like, hey man, like, that's not you. Or, hey, don't do stuff like that, man.
It almost disturbs me when people can see who I am and who I'm trying to be. And I'm like, how can you see it that easily? Because I can't, and I want to. But then occasionally, when you are in your element and you're feeling yourself, you're confident. My dog fell asleep. You do meet these people, and you see them, and it'll come to you that maybe I need to do something selfless here and offer, you know, a kind gesture, some polite words, or maybe even friendship to this person because I think they really need it, and I can see the good in them. And, you know, you're not going around telling people how you're, you know, self-righteous and all that shit. But not in a self-righteous way, but it does make you feel good to have done something for someone else. And especially if you're feeling lonely or down on yourself, to just help someone else in that way. Like doing these little video journal entries with ET over here.
Gone trash. Or Evan.
I call him Evan.
Or Evan.
I call him trash. Like this, it feels nice because I know there are people watching who. How many views do we get on the last one?
About 44 views.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some of you guys resonated with some of the stuff we said. You probably have bigger problems than you realize if that's you. And I really hope it's not too long before you begin figuring out what that problem is.
Yeah. And to throw it out there, both of us are not specialists or experts at this at all.
By any means.
This is just our experiences, and we just want to just share it.
I'm 27 and the last 7 years just flew by.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, and I'm still trying to figure it out.
And yeah, and another thing too, a video, it might have been a video you sent me maybe like a year or two ago. It was
Probably.
like a while back, but something that caught my eye, there was what's his name? The actor in The Office who played Dwight with the glasses.
Shrew. Rainn Wilson.
He was talking about that one video where he was like on a talk show, and he was saying, yeah, he's like kids in their like mid 20s, late 20s. He's like, they're still figuring things out. And he goes, and that's okay. And he's just like, because the world is so pushy with, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Or what's your goals? What's your goals? Well, you got to be successful. You got to make $1 million. You got to have this nice house. You got to have this and that. And they're like pressuring so much.
Yeah. I've been trying to learn a lot about that recently because I've been feeling very far behind in life. I recently had a breakup, and it kind of upends everything whenever you're financially dependent on the other. We're doing like a 50-50 thing with this apartment. We got 9 months left on this lease, and I have zero savings, and I don't know if I'm going to see these pets after this year is over, and I don't know who I am right now. But in my personal research, I have found many good positive things, and I think some of this was from some YouTubers analyzing Adventure Time, which is a very deep show, by the way. If you've watched the show but don't know anything about like the meaning of it, get into it. It's pretty great. But define success for yourself, because not everybody is meant to go to school, get good enough grades, play a sport, get a scholarship, go to college, get a job with that degree, you know, make money, have a kid, have a wife, car, house. That's someone else's idea of success, and it's kind of put upon you. And maybe back in the day that was what everybody wanted, but in my current state, maybe I'm not almost 30, but I'm almost 30. I wish I had a creative space where I could do woodworking, draw, photography, play drums. I miss drums so much, man. I hope we get to make some music videos, and a steady job that doesn't kill me, or maybe a job doing one of those things, and hopefully a loving relationship. And if that doesn't come to me, I hope I can learn to love myself in a way that fills whatever that void is. And maybe I can share my experiences with someone who also learned to love themselves. Because it is hard if you've probably been through something that's made it difficult to love yourself. And I understand that, but it shouldn't be hard.
Yeah. It definitely shows a lot of how much I care with people over time, when you get to know them, like I was saying earlier, like the an outside of them, and at some point, they're, I can trust you. You're a good person, and things like.
Oh, me?
And well, just like you and like other people that I know that have like,
Mm-hmm.
I've been with some people where the even though, like, I'll say this too, like, even though when I said earlier, like, I'm a people pleaser, but sometimes I kind of have to stop myself because there's been some times where like high school people that we knew,
Mm-hmm.
or like people that graduated, and like I've had a couple people come up to me that turned out to be homeless, and they were just like, hey man, can I borrow some money? And I'm like, yeah, sure, like, here you go, man. And then a couple days later they're like, hey, I need some more money. And it's just like, okay.
I have been duped before, and there are people I absolutely would give some cash to, but like
Yeah,
I've become to see through the layer of BS of someone telling you a story. If they're telling you a story, it's more than likely bullcrap unless you asked for the story. You know what I mean? But on the note of being in our 20s and not knowing what's going on, I would like to put his name on the screen, but there's this famous TikTok dude, and I see him on Facebook. I don't have TikTok, but he's this black dude, and he reveals the secret recipes to different like restaurants, whatever. And he's hilarious when he does it too. He's like, okay, so here's the deal. Come here. You got to put artichoke in your Alfredo sauce. And then you have Olive Garden's special dip or whatever.
huh.
And he's hilarious. But he was talking about how I guess Gen Z is aging faster. And I'm on the older end of Gen Z. I'm like a year away from being the oldest of Gen Z. And basically, the stress levels and yeah, mostly just stress levels, I believe. I'm sure
Chris,
there's
yeah.
more to it.
Yeah.
Have worn down on us so hard that people think I'm in my late 30s. He looks like he's like, not him, the guy I'm talking about looks like he's like 40. He's got the forehead wrinkles and everything. He's very handsome. Nothing against him. But uh, yeah, it's definitely take time to relax and take care of yourself because that is so important. And if you feel like your mental health hasn't been good in a while and you end up in depressions, it's probably because you're not taking very good care of yourself in the first place, because that will help your self-esteem and confidence when it comes to dealing with these difficult situations that really bring you down.
For one example, yes, stress has been the very that I've, well, still to this day, that I'm still challenging with, especially with both of us, like us being adults and having tons of responsibilities to take care of.
Have I
And
have I ever told you about what my blood pressure is?
might have
In October, do you know what your blood pressure is supposed to be?
probably heard it so many times.
It's like 140 over 90.
Okay.
And mine is like heart attack level around like 220 over 180. And so now I'm on medication for that because I started to take care of myself. We measured it like every day in October, or maybe not every day, but we measured it very often. And I was just so comfortable with it being that high. And then I take these. Sorry to cut you off, by the way. I'll let you finish in a
Yeah, you're
second.
good.
I started taking these blood pressure meds, and I'm like gonna like pass out, fall asleep at work. I feel like slow because my heart's not used to not having to work so hard. And like sometimes my chest hurts, and I'm like, oh shit, that usually feels that way. So please take care of yourself. And if you're in a stressful situation around people who make you feel bad about yourself, who bring you down, and you have the power or the ability to just say, you stress me out, I need some time away. Evan has told me I'm being an asshole and I need to like put a pause on our friendship for a while. And that destroyed me. But I totally understand that I was like hurting his like mental health because I was being a total jerk. Um,
Yeah, keep in mind, I'll say, like, when that was going on, I did not want to send that text message because I felt the guilt of being like, well, now I'm going to be
no, man.
an a hole
No.
to him. So
Sometimes you have to be a dick. You absolutely needed to send that text message. I'm glad you did, and I don't think we'd still be friends if you didn't. And I went through such a hard depression when that happened. I lost myself for a minute, And it definitely needed to happen because I was changing for the worse for sure. Um,
Yeah.
if you would like some clarification on that, basically we were working out very hard, boxing actually, and I was giving myself the role of coach because I'd done it for a while. And I was like trying to stay on top of these guys for working out, and I was calling them out for skipping workout days that we agreed on. And it was becoming very passive aggressive in some stuff that I get from my family, and I realized that, and
Which not, I mean, you're doing that all the time. And I will say too, every once in a while, it's good to have that push to
but not
you
passive
know,
aggressive.
but not passive, but no, not passive aggressive. There were some times I was like, okay, yeah, I do need that little push. Yeah. But yeah, there's just some other days where
I was being
yeah,
a bad friend.
yeah,
Yeah.
um,
And it wouldn't be difficult to decide that what I'm saying to you in the situation of let's go work out a little too far. Let's just put this on hold for another day. Clearly it's a
yeah,
bad day.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, like what I was gonna say earlier too, for like staying up too late or in for way too long. There was times where I'll kind of openly admit too, where I would just be in my bed for so many hours, and then the yeah, yesterday when I was hanging up my posters, I started hanging up my posters around like 5:30 ish p.m. Stayed up so late. I literally
Nice to redo your room in the middle of the night.
and I slept in, but the thing was that I kind of beat myself over was I slept in till like 2 in the afternoon, which was very late. But just for people that are watching and stuff too, like even with dealing with stress, like stuff that I usually do if I'm dealing with it, it's like I gotta get out of the house. It's like I'll either go take a drive, clean just a tiny little portion of my room, even though in my head I'm like, I want to get this whole thing done.
That's overwhelming.
And it gets overwhelming.
Pick
And
a
then
small thing.
and
It's
that
a small victory.
gets more stressed because I'm pushing myself too hard. And that kind of ties in with
That's how I end up hoarding. The room will just be covered in projects, and I'll just start putting things in there to make this room clean. I'll go put stuff in there, and then it's just too much, and
it's
I
just
don't go in there.
stacks of projects.
And then that room just becomes negative vibes, and you don't go in there. And that's my art room. That's meant to be my relaxing space. And it gets second priority to everything else because I don't want to messy everything else. That's the messiest room. Let's just keep that, you know.
Yeah. And
It just ruins it.
And the only thing that was kind of beating myself over was because I was like, well, now I just feel like I pretty much slept half of the day away. And it was already like 2 o'clock. And I got out of bed, took a shower, did whatever. I was like, you know what? I have some of these posters laying around my room that I want to hang out. Go do that, even though it's like 5:36 ish. So
The shingles on the roof of my apartment building started falling off today and hitting cars. The apartments don't seem very concerned about it hitting cars, but I guess they've got someone here to figure out what they're going to do to repair that.
yeah, the weather currently right now is extremely windy.
It must be that blood moon or something. I don't know. I
We're
don't
all
know how that works.
cursed. But like I was saying earlier, when I kind of like got up and put posters around my room and things, kind of ties in with mostly today what mainly talking about, but like yeah, perfectionism. It's one of
Oh
those-
yes.
strive for it like too fast. But yeah, with perfectionism, which I think huge majority of people all over the world deal with, and not everybody thinks the same. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different system, and that's totally fine. And mainly what I've been learning too is mistakes should be looked at as a good thing.
Oh yeah.
And I think what a lot of like even like older generations, they look at mistakes, it's like, well, now you messed up because now you got to do this, that, and that can really affect you a lot.
I'm not sure where that starts though, because with like people aren't as socially adjusted as they used to be, and I feel like people didn't used to beat up on themselves as much as they do now. And I wonder if it's just like the previous generation saying, I didn't screw up that bad. And then,
Yeah.
and then they can really scrutinize you. But like, what are you doing, dude? You literally sit around the house all day. You can't even take care of yourself. Like, who are you to tell me that I'm screwing up? But also,
Yeah.
you can't succeed without failures. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have to mess up if you want to do it right. And the best way to do it is to screw up.
And I'm very guilty of it, even with a very small inconvenience where I'm like, I'm going to have a good day at work. I'm going to get some of these things done. And some little inconvenience where like I'll have a manager come up to me and be like, hey, here's some of your progress. Here's how you're doing at work, but you kind of messed up in some of these parts. But I should instantly be more, okay, I need to stop and just let that sink in. Stop copying. let let that sink in and just be more, okay, this is a mistake or whatever it could be. But for me, I'm more the person where like I get easily aggravated at myself. Like, great, now the whole day is ruined, and I get in a bad habit of doing that. And I still personally
Yeah.
need to work on that.
I remember there was a time in high school, and I spent a lot of time trying to get back to this, and that in itself is a bad thing. But back in high school, there was a period where I came up with the name Mr. Smiley, which is currently my YouTube name. I don't know if it's going to stay. And it was just kind of this persona where I was the optimist guy because everyone likes the optimist guy. And I would just be so positive and honestly just saying positive things and trying to bring everyone else up. I had fantastic days. And I stopped worrying to the point where I would goof off at school, and I'm not condoning this. I do feel that high school is a waste of time, but I'm not gonna, spread that message. Different subject. That's for my channel. Come to me for conspiracy theories and my opinions.
This guy.
This guy. And basically, if it stressed me out, I didn't do it. And I didn't manage my relationships in the same way, which I'm learning now is I don't want to waste my positive energy on people who are just going to tell me my ideas will never work, that it's bad, that I screwed up, or that won't let go of my past mistakes because I've already moved past them and I'm trying to be better. They keep bringing them up, and it's not productive to just keep me down like that or anybody. And so for my early 20s, I was trying to become that optimist again, but also I was isolating myself at the time. So there was like no one to socialize with, or I had a job that it was okay. I was working at a burger place, and don't like, although you should only compare yourself to yourself in the past because you've made that much more progress, in that you maybe, sure, you used to be that person and that's great, but who are you now and what has changed you and what are you going to do to become the person you want to be? I always hear about set up in your mind the ideal version of yourself. What do they do? Why are they that happy? Who are they with? What does their house look like? Do they worry about material possessions? Maybe they do. Do they pig out and not worry about it? Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're a health nut and they just run all the time. That sounds great to me. And then ask yourself, what do you need to do that? And I'll stop this rant with a quote from Kung Fu Panda. It's a great movie. Master Oogway. It always hits me, and it's so cliche, but it really hits me.
Yeah.
Is that the past is history, the future is a mystery, but today is a gift, and that's why it's called the present. And you have no control over the past. The only thing you can do with the past is accept it so that you can fully understand who you are now. And then you take those things as like laws of nature. This is what I am. This is what I've come to. And that's fine because I'm living and breathing and I still have conscious control over myself and I haven't lost my mind or whatever it might be. That
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, just one more thing. And that now is the only time you can affect something. You can't say I'll do it tomorrow and then not do it, because whatever that thing was, if that helps you become who you want to be, it doesn't happen until you've done it. And that's not to pile on the to-do list of I need to do 12 things today, but you know, make progress and don't beat yourself up if you don't, because there is always tomorrow, but just cherish today, because once it's gone and you're not going to get that day back. Um, Time is the only finite currency, I suppose, that we have. And if you don't tell your friends you love them enough, I love you. And if you don't spend enough time outdoors or doing what you like doing, go do it. And if you don't have time today, make plans and hold yourself to them. Be responsible with your word and when you say you're going to do something. What were you going to say?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And like set reminders. I've been setting like sticky notes on my walls to like put reminders like, hey, don't forget to do this, don't forget to do that. And that helps a lot because I need something. I'm a visual learner, so I need stuff to visualize and see right in front of me to help. And another big thing too is to just, whenever you have a goal for something, don't look at it as the end result and be like, well, this is what it will look like once I get it done, because you're not going to get anywhere. It's like you need to break it down and break it down as small as you can. If it's something big, just be like, okay, well, what's a little thing I can do today? And then I can do the other little half tomorrow. And then who knows, that might get you going. Like, first thing that pops in my head is a train. There's like a locomotive. Then it goes and goes and goes and goes. Then you're like, all right, I feel successful and like that. And if you need to, like I said earlier, go take a night drive. That usually helps just clear my head. Like look at the scenery. And another thing too, which I've heard, I think like really helps to spend time, even if you don't like it or not. But go spend time in Mother Nature. It's so
Just getting vitamin, is it vitamin D or vitamin C you get from the sun?
vitamin D.
Vitamin
Yeah.
D. Getting vitamin D.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't taken that in a while. I got prescribed vitamin D, and it really brought up my mood. And you can take these little gummies if you like. If you work indoors, you can go to like just the grocery store and pick up a thing of gummy vitamin D. I think they're D3
Yep.
gummies, and check how much you're supposed to take and everything. But they really do brighten you up if you're not in the sun very much. But yeah, outdoors, breathing in natural, clean air, nothing through a filter or a vent. Of course, pollen is a pain, or ragweed if you're from the south. But there is something about being outdoors. I just rediscovered fishing, and apparently Zach is really into fishing, and he has a ton of tackle. I just went once, like the other day, and I'm already hooked on it. No pun.
Nice.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
But that might be my new outside thing. I kind of want to do mountain biking again. Maybe I'll get back into rock climbing with Jacob.
I think for me, it's been hiking.
Oh,
Hiking
dude,
has
I will
been
so go hiking with you.
so
I'm gonna hike so hard.
because recently me and my girlfriend we did a hiking in Wichita Falls, and Mount Scott is kind of the biggest mountain there is out there. And
You always have good little road trips, dude. I need to go on more road trips with you.
like I was saying, like night drives or even little road trips.
I think I need a small car, like kind of a slick, like a fun little driver, because my truck does not get good gas, and it's looking fatal for that truck at this moment.
Yeah, it was one of those literally life experience things where I at a halfway point and got to see like the mountains, such a high altitude, and then going all the way up to the top and feeling accomplished all the way back down. Yes, even though I was in tremendous pain and I was
Mhm.
very exhausted.
It's a
But
great time.
but the next day,
It's kind of cathartic, isn't it?
yeah,
Dude, when I would go to boxing, we would spend an hour. If it was leg day, it was just leg day. But yeah, pretty much any day, we'd spend an hour and your shirt would be drenched in sweat besides just the love handles of your shirt.
Yeah.
And then I would walk home, and some nights it would be like freezing and dark. And I caught a ride one time, but I would just have the most like positive mindset on the walk home after that. I could have the worst day before that and just exercising that hard. Yeah, that's part of taking care of yourself, exercise. And if you can bring yourself to a good sweat, whether you have music on or you just do it in silence or if you're just walking outside on the sidewalk or whatever, it it does wonders for your mind. Oh my gosh.
It's one of those things after I came back from hiking. One of those things where it's like you have to ask yourself too when you go in nature. Kind of ask yourself like if you go on a hike and like you get back, you get in your car, obviously exhausted and you're sweaty and everything, and you think about taking a shower and stuff. But in your car, I just want if you're still watching, it's like if you get in your car or whatever from nature, and I just want you to just ask yourself like why was I being upset earlier? Like before you even got to the
Like
hike.
these
And like,
problems are so small,
yeah,
and if especially if you have no control over the problem, absolutely figure out what it is you need to do to stop worrying about that, because if something bad is going to happen, let it happen, because when there's nothing you can do, it's just damaging to you to be worried. I That's why my stress levels are so high, is I just worry about things. But if I can catch myself being aware of that, then that is the first step in controlling it. So just pay attention to those moments, what you're feeling, what you're thinking when you're having this self-doubt or just negativity towards screw this, screw me, screw the world, everything's screwed, just I want to watch it all burn. There's no point to this anyway. I'm so insignificant and my life doesn't mean anything. So what? But if you're still alive, do something with it. And if you don't like your current situation, go do something else somewhere else where you like what you do and who you're around. And there's not enough time in your life to be doing miserable things day in, day out, where you barely get enough sleep, where you hate your boss and you don't get paid enough for the rent you pay. And yeah, but like honestly, I don't even care about financial success anymore. As long as I have enough to live and I can do what I love doing, I'll be happy. So I'm moving towards that.
something I see all the time on social media. Really just kind of grinds my gears when
Chains
I
my
when
That'll
I
get the chains
yeah
moving.
when I hear, but when I hear like from like the younger generations being more like this is how you should live your life, like you should have $1 million by this age. If not, you're not cool
Not
enough.
everybody's. What's his name?
And
Stephen Graham, that guy that's like almost 30 and like a billionaire or something.
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
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 Stephen.
yeah, yeah.
He's a cool guy. He's got some good advice, but he's still a clickbait YouTuber, and he wants you to want his life, and that's.
Yeah.
I mean, for some people, that's perfect. Go watch his videos. Go do that. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a penny pincher, and I don't want to worry about that stuff. It'd be smart to know some of it, and I do plan on learning some good financial success tips, but more or less, that's just so I don't have to worry so hard on the money I make, so that I can live if I continue in a situation like I am currently in, uh, without, you know, being like, what if my roommate doesn't make rent next month or something, which is not a concern right now if you're watching this. Um, just a scenario. Yeah, I'm financially independent by any means, and it's a problem.
Yeah. I'll just I'll kind of end it with this. I can't remember the exact YouTubers mentioned it to you the other day, but there was this just thumbnail of a old painting
Oh yeah.
cracked and everything. It looked like beyond where it was just like gone at that point. And this guy has, you know, his studio, talking about how he's giving himself the challenge that he's going to make this painting restored, looks brand new, and going to paint it no matter how much it is. And he explained openly, like, yes, this project was very hard. Like, my hands hurt. I was sore. I was very tired. And one thing he said was, some people, they just want to rush through it, be like, I just want to get this done, just get out of my way. And he's just like, don't do that. You got to get in that certain headspace where it was something like, I can't remember exact words, but it was like,
in the zone.
rushed work turns out to be horrible. And he's like, you got to get in that mind space of just one thing at a time, take your time, and things
Sometimes you
start.
got to put it on pause and come back to it.
Pause and come
There's
back to it.
nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a problem with that where I'll stay up until 3 a.m. working on something, you know?
And it just really, and like he just talked about it, and that really spoke to me about life and things, and that put me in that perspective of like, okay, those projects that I have in my head of like, I want to do all this stuff, I'm just like, I'm probably just gonna have to put some aside for quite a while and work on the ones that I can do. And cast that I'm doing, Tech Brew, go check us out. I'll probably put it here or something.
No, it's over.
Oh, yeah, like they do when
here.
they go, yeah, it's this or here.
And then it's actually like down there.
I need to do that, yeah. It's like right here. But even for me personally, doing the podcast, which I forgot to tell you, this coming Monday actually.
Link right here.
Yeah. It's down here.
Uh,
Actually, this coming Monday is Tech Brew's 1-year anniversary.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, and I joined in the summer.
And
That's cool.
I just saw that on my phone and I was like, oh, because I'm glad I wrote it down.
I mean, we could go see when the first upload was if you wanted.
Yeah.
You know?
Good, yeah.
But
anyway.
do an anniversary episode. If we're all hanging out on Monday anyway, and Zach won't be there. Do an episode, hang out, play games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
That'd be a thing.
So, but yeah, just take things at a time, do stuff that clears your head, check on your health. Like Grayson was saying, like exercise or like vitamins, minerals, things like that.
Just move around. Just make sure you're not sitting in the dark in an office chair or in your bed every single day with either fluorescent, incandescent LED lights or whatever, or no lights. It's much worse in the dark. And just doing your house chores, going to work, coming home, going to sleep. That is so easy to get stuck in because there's things like DoorDash to prevent you from going to the store or even a restaurant. And you might even have anxiety about this will be a short tangent. I was watching this video on loneliness, and I would like to link that in the description as well, because it really is like a weird epidemic that we have. But it's so common for people to get anxiety about texting people. When you're feeling lonely, it's easy to get anxiety about texting people that you haven't seen in a long time. But think about it from their perspective, where you get a text from someone you haven't heard from in like a year, 2 years, 3 years. And it's like, oh my gosh, I miss that person. I remember, like, you know, these good times. I wonder what they're up to. I wonder how they've been doing. And, you know, it's probably not as bad as you think. And even if they're busy or they're not interested in maintaining that friendship anymore, like someone is, and keep trying, because although all of our personal problems are typically thrust upon ourselves to handle on our own, loneliness is the one thing that you cannot solve by yourself. And even if it's like an old teacher that just understood you and was there for you when you needed them, just see how they're doing, ask them how school's been, or, you know, reconnect with someone that you had bad blood with, but you miss that friendship, because I guarantee they miss it too. And it's less than likely that one of you two messed up so bad that you can't have that friendship again.
I think for a lot of people too with loneliness, drives them towards a like with themselves for long periods of time, like in the dark in their head. Then they start getting that headspace of, I guess I'm the only one. I'm the only one dealing with this. I'm the
I
only
don't
one
have any, no one understands my problems. But then here we are talking on YouTube about it because we found other people that were also talking about it. And we're like, okay, maybe that's not, maybe I'm not the first person to ever have this emotion. You know what I mean?
yeah. It
Um,
can get you in a very dark
and,
place. Yeah.
and although you're trying to end the video, there is one more thing I would like to touch on towards anxiety. And I would like to make a video about anxiety, but not today. This isn't even about perfectionism. This entire video is about self-care or something. I don't know. Personal problems. That's what we'll title it.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
The more you know.
Imagination.
We imagined it was about perfectionism. Uh,
Yeah.
We're going to leave it the title anyway. But there was a beautiful analogy that I heard. I was just on YouTube. I wasn't even looking for an answer, but I was having a lot of anxiety. I was very lonely. And I think just everybody I could think to text that I normally text was just busy. And just at that moment, I didn't want to like cause concern or alarm for how I was feeling at the moment. It didn't seem that serious or that important. And I came across this YouTube video, and the guy's name was Tim Box, I believe, and he had a TED Talk. And if you look at the little bar on the YouTube thing, I skipped the first half of the video where everyone else skipped to. And he had this analogy for how your emotions, needs, and mental health all kind of work in your brain. And it cured my anxiety like instantly because I realized it was just a feeling that would pass. But I'll talk about this other tangent in another video. But what he talked about is that your mind is a ship at sea, and like any ship, there's a captain that makes rational, logical, reasonable decisions. That is usually the best answer for the information given at the time for what you need to do. It is the core of who you are. And now your subconscious, all of the, how did I put this? I need to pull up the text. I texted you about this immediately when I watched it. Let's see what I sent Evan the other day. Hang on, let me just read this for a second. Okay.
You're a captain on this ship.
Your mind is a ship, and like any ship, you have a captain that, knows the logical thing to do, knows when to do it, and how to do it. Makes rational decisions for you. And your needs are your crew. They use emotions to tell you when something is wrong, when something needs to be fixed, or how to steer the ship. And, like sadness whenever you miss somebody, whatever it is. There's a tangent there that I stopped. But the crew will trigger the emotion for anxiety. Now, anxiety is going to happen no matter what, but you can improve your relationship with it because all anxiety is your crew feels unheard. Your needs are not being met by yourself, and you've ignored your emotions long enough. And I used to do this in high school with earbuds. I would always have music in if I was going through a breakup, sad music. And you'll probably notice if you do that enough, you'll ruin those songs for yourself where you can't listen to them unless you're feeling that way. And those songs stop being good all the time anymore, which I love music. I don't want to ruin songs for myself. I want to have a record collection and put on any of my favorite songs, and they're what I need no matter what. And basically what I was doing is the same thing that people that use drugs or alcohol or weed or whatever to avoid their emotions is it's still bottling it up, and it puts it away because you never dealt with it. And eventually those things build up so much that you explode. And I learned this from Healthy Gamer GG, another guy you should look up, who I believe he's a clinical psychologist, but he doesn't give licensed help on YouTube. He just talks about mental health issues. Bottling up your emotions
Yeah.
is eventually you'll have this freak out. The kids call it crashing out these days, but you'll blow up, you'll freak out, you will lose your, because you're not letting off steam. You're boiling a pot of water with a lid on it, and the lid's locked on, or like a pressure cooker or something, and it just keeps building pressure.
Yeah.
And if you don't let steam off, you're going to lose your and you have to go outside, you have to do your hobbies, exercise, all of these things let off steam. It's really, really good for you. Vent to a friend. Venting isn't always the best for different reasons, but it can help with letting off steam. Whatever your thing is, do it well, and do it in a comfortable, kind way, unless whatever the thing is uncomfortable, like skydiving. I don't know. And just be nice to yourself and do things you enjoy. If you're an adrenaline junkie, go skydiving. It's great. I've never done it.
Yeah.
But so when you ignore your emotions enough, or the emotions that your needs are giving you, ignore it enough, you will gain anxiety. And if you can ignore your anxiety enough, you will lose your ship. You will lose your mind. And that's how people lose their mind. They don't get the help they need, and they don't know how to ask for it. Like loneliness. If you ignore how lonely you are and you just feel sad, and then you drink all the time so you don't have to think about how sad you are and have fun again or whatever, you will stop. You won't remember what it feels like to be sad, which can be a good feeling, by the way. And then the anxiety happens. And then if you can ignore the anxiety enough, you will absolutely lose your mind.
Yeah. Because I will say, yeah, a lot of people don't know how to ask for help. And that kind of leads them to figuring it out themselves. And that just leads them more into a rut.
Yeah. Or in my situation, and I don't know if this is all men, you might be able to corroborate this. I didn't grow up in a household where we talked about emotions, and I was 15 when I learned the word for anxiety, and I thought it was just when you get sweaty and like warm and like jittery during a test at school. I didn't know it was a bad sign of something. I'm still learning different emotions I didn't know there were words for. And sometimes I'll be with a partner, a girlfriend or whatever, and I will be so upset for no reason, apparently no reason, and I won't know how to express what I'm feeling, and I don't know how to communicate what's wrong, and so they can't help me, and I don't know where to look to find the answer, but just researching it enough gave me the tools I need. And mental health has become more of a public knowledge thing in the recent years, which is like one of the greatest highlights of the past, I don't know, 10, 15 years, in my opinion, because there's a lot of bad things, but I am very happy that it's becoming common knowledge to take care of your mind and be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
So, but if you can repair that ship that is your mind. This is a longer tangent than I thought. If you can repair that ship that is your mind by correcting the relationship you have to those emotions and meeting those needs and handling that anxiety, then those emotions don't have to be awful or scary or bad anymore. Like, I've absolutely had panic attacks and terrible things like that. But if you can come to understand what you need and when, or if you're afraid to do something, you get anxiety about social situations that you've never been in before, do your best to calm yourself down, start small, and try socializing. I tried karaoke once and it was terrible, and maybe one day I'll try karaoke again, but it was very embarrassing. I might do it around these guys, but yeah, maybe never again. But start small, do things that are a little scary, and tell that part of your mind, watch this, and when it's over, tell me if it was a bad idea. Let's find out. Let's take some risk here and find out whether or not I should do this again in the future.
It might sound kind of like it helps when, yeah, when I get scared, when I get anxious about something, or like I'm getting prepared for something and I'm like, I feel like I'm going to mess it up, whatever, or it's going to go bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then after it happens, no matter what it is, and then like towards the end of it, like I don't know, an interview or something, and it's like I get out of the interview
Yeah.
and I come out, and lately I've been asking myself, or in my head, my mental thoughts where I'm like, that wasn't as bad as I thought. Why
Yeah.
was I overreacting so much?
Yeah. And then sometimes, like, maybe you're going to try talking to your crush or someone that you thought was pretty in public and just go approach them. But you're an introvert and you don't do that, because it can be really easy to beat up on yourself for saying the wrong thing. But at least you know not to say that next time,
Mm-hmm.
unless you get arrested. Then, I mean, that's not the end of the world. It's really not.
When you're, yeah,
But
it's a lot when you're an introvert and you meet her and she could be total opposite extrovert.
And the problem we're trying to avoid with this is it's so easy to have an idea or something you want to try and do, or someone you want to talk to or something, and come up with 100 reasons not to do it, and just say, oh, I'll just look stupid if I do that, or I look dumb right now, I didn't dress very well today, or whatever it is, I didn't take a shower,
Mm-hmm.
um, then you'll never do anything. And because you're not going to do anything different than you've been doing, staying in your dark room, playing on your computer, not talking to people, nothing's going to change. And it might get a little worse, and then it's going to stay the same for a very long time. And if you don't want to live that depressing, lonely, sad life anymore, you need to do something about it, and you need to try something new. But you don't have to do it alone. You can do it with friends. You can have these new, exciting experiences with people that you never thought you would do that with. Like, I don't know, you want to, something we've never done. You've been fishing before? I'll take you fishing. It's a lovely time.
Yeah.
I didn't catch anything the other day, and
There you go.
I was
Yeah.
so mentally relaxed because I was focused on what I was doing, and all of the outside world problems, literally, like dads say on old cartoons, is like all your problems melt away when you're fishing. But like for real, dude, I wasn't worried about
You will be a
anything.
changed man.
I was a little socially awkward because I was around people that I don't. It was my boss and his friend. I was socializing with people I don't socialize with. But besides that, like my breakup wasn't on my mind, and I was really enjoying what I was doing. And I was like, I could get good at this. I didn't catch anything. I think something stole a bite of my worm once. That's about it.
Mm.
But I think you'd have a good time with it, honestly. And let's try new things. I remember the time you and me went to that abandoned, I think it was like a World War II hospital or something.
Oh, for
No, it was a polio hospital.
like, yeah, Native Americans.
No. Was that a native hospital?
Mm-hmm.
It was like a boarding house.
Yeah, it was native.
Oh, I
though.
bet you that was a boarding house. Oh, that's
I know.
even
I know what
spookier.
you're talking about now. Yeah.
Well, we just went on a road trip to go see that, and it was just a nice experience. And I got some landscape photography, which I didn't know there were roads like that in Oklahoma where it winds around almost like the edge of a mountain.
Oh,
It definitely
yep.
wasn't a mountain, it was just a big hill.
Yeah.
But you could turn around and see the horizon like 3 miles away, and just beautiful photography.
That's literally how it was up
That-
on Mount Scott.
At
yeah.
the time, that's what I needed to get over whatever I was going through at that time. And I wish we did things like that more, and I wish we did photography more often. And I don't know if I'm going to really do YouTube yet. I'm going to try making a few YouTube videos, but I want to try new things. I think I would like to record them, and I would like to bring you guys on the journey of me trying to figure myself out and figure out what I want in life, and maybe help you guys do the same thing. I'm getting a little emotional right now. I'm tearing up a little bit.
All good, man. It's all good.
I've been through a lot of dark times mentally.
Yeah. I'm very proud of you, man. You know, it just sounds like another just I'm proud of you. It's just like no, it's
You got me crying in the club.
yeah, no, the stuff that you've been through and how long I've known you.
I make the
Yeah.
biggest deals out of fucking nothing,
Yeah.
dude.
But no, the stuff that you've like I know me personally, I know you pushed yourself through. Very proud of you, man. So, yeah.
Appreciate that.
Not just not taking it lightly. So, but I think that's about it for me. I can't really.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But I think that's about it for me.
But yeah, I think we should call this one. Oh man, I had a name a minute ago.
Oh no.
I had a good one. It was like personal ruminations or like mental health thoughts or something like that. Like mental health talk number 2. You
Like,
know,
ooh,
like
I
this
like
could be a
that. Yeah.
series, and then we
Yeah.
do other things on this channel that aren't this.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I like that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Anyway, I
Yeah.
am Mr. Smiley. You can call me Gray.
We're great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
or you can call me Gray as per his permission.
I'm.
You can call him Trash.
I'm trash.
Trash.
But yeah. But anyway, thank you for sticking around. Yeah. I'm Moticon Trash or Evan, and yeah, this is Mr. Smiley or Gray.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you for talking.
Absolutely.
This was a really good one. I'm glad we. So
I feel pretty good right now.
I do too. I feel a lot better. So anyway, thank you for joining. But yeah, we'll probably do some more stuff like this. This is like part 2. We'll probably do like a couple more. We'll do like a series or something like that. So, but yeah, and yeah, we're not experts at all. We didn't really go to school for this and such.
When you say that, it sounds like the intro to Mythbusters. We are the experts. Don't try this at home.
Yeah, but this is just from our experiences, and we
Yeah.
just want to
And
just
not
help.
only are we not therapists, but we've never had therapy.
Right.
We're just figuring this out the hard way, and it just happens to be going good. So if therapy isn't for you, or you couldn't find the therapist that you need, there are resources on the internet and other places to figure out what you need to know and then how to work through it. One guy I've been watching is Julian himself is his YouTube name, but it's Julian Hissange. That doesn't sound right. He's from Sweden, but he's, American accent and everything. He talks about forgiving yourself, what to do when you feel anxiety and how to work through it and improve and all that. Highly recommend. Healthy Gamer GG will talk about things like how people end up in these like loneliness self traps, or how to build confidence or whatever. And it's very useful information, and they have communities like on Discord or whatever where the audience can talk and you can join them, and they will be very supportive towards you. I've not been in those chats yet. Internet socializing is now scarier to me than public socializing. That's weird.
Yes, and you can find many TED Talks too on all.
By the way, just because they have a TED Talk doesn't mean you should assume they have credibility, because I have seen some dumb TED Talks, I will admit.
Yes, yeah.
But definitely, if you have anxiety, I highly recommend looking up Tim Box's TED Talk. Tim Box, Box. He's the one that had that ship analogy, if that made any sense when I said it, because he said it better.
Just go watch. Yeah, just go watch
Oh
it.
my gosh, what a way to describe it. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was his idea originally. And something to go along with the ship is something I was practicing before that, is when my OCD would take over. And I don't know, did I show you the OCD short film? There's a short film on YouTube called OCD where this dude's in a store.
Yep.
And like the end of the world happens in his head. And I didn't know I had OCD until I saw that. And I was like, that's exactly what it's like. And if you overthink like that, something, I don't know if it's a Buddhist thing or if it's, what does Alan Watts teach? Some sort of spiritualism. Anyway, there's an old something to you need to imagine your thoughts. You need to remember your thoughts are just like clouds in the sky or fish in a river. And although you can fixate on them or pay attention to them all, they are just floating by, and you can just ignore them and enjoy the noise, the sound of the rushing water, and find calmness in that. And that calms down my overthinking like nothing else. But I do have to have a bit of silence and alone time to achieve that. I can't do that in
A balance. Yeah.
loud,
A balance.
overstimulating places. But
Alrighty.
have a lovely day. Please drive safe. Call me if you get pulled over. Oh my God. Don't get pulled over. We can't afford it. And have a great day. And
Be kind to yourself.
be
Don't
kind to yourself.
don't be too hard.
And you will see amazing improvements in your life. Love you. Bye.